Krysten Hagedorn and Ryan Ducham are a partner poi duo based out of Wisconsin. They have both been involved in Flow Festival organization and have also performed at IJA. We had some really insightful discussions about partner poi, flow arts festivals, and upcoming guests on the podcast. Support us on Patreon. It really does mean a lot. Let us know what you think of the episode down in the comments. Welcome to the Poidcast and enjoy the episode, my friends. Krysten and Ryan, welcome to the Poidcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Hello,
Yeah.
Wisconsin. How we doing?
Yeah, so good, y'all. I've been really looking forward to this episode for multiple reasons, but obviously this is the first little panel that we've had, so definitely excited to get into it and hear both of your stories as individuals and then just as a pair, because y'all are known for your partner poi. For me, essentially right now, I think of y'all as just being the most amazing partner poi duo right now. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Either one of y'all can kick this off, but let's start where you got introduced to poi, how and when that happened, and go.
You started first.
Okay. Senior year of high school, there was a dance class. I got into that and it went terribly. But the last project was to look up a dance on YouTube and teach it to the class. So me and my group found jump style, and it's like kind of hard style techno dancing. And so started to learn dance on YouTube, which led to like glow sticks on shoestrings and gloving. And then just dance and kind of liquid, especially, and tutting. Get more into that later, maybe. But I went to an event in 2015 for one night. I went to Campfire, and I got really excited to try to bring people together back in Wisconsin more frequently and kind of hang out with more people. So started up a Facebook group and Spin Wisconsin. And then that was how I ended up teaching my friends a lot and getting some experience to apply to festivals with curriculums. And it's kind of a classic story from there, just really loving poi and loving to teach people and having the time at the right place to be able to go to these events.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. What a good origin, Wisconsin. You said spin. What did you say?
Spin
Wisconsin.
Okay,
which,
I love it.
By the way, the better one was Wisconsin. I missed out.
Okay, that's great. Okay, and you, Krysten?
So for me, it was all electric forest. I got into hula hooping about 3 months before that event, and then I was dressed in a Pikachu onesie one night at Electric Forest, and somebody had Pokemon inspired poi, so they handed me those, and I was excited, and I just kind of flailed around. I knew very much nothing. So I went home, and I lived in Canada at this point. So this was in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. So I, went home, bought the classic pod poi, kind of the best beginner poi.
Yeah.
So bought some of those, which actually my mom has now. So love you, Mom.
Oh.
And yeah, so I knew 5 moves or something, and I did them to the music. I was more concerned with just jamming to the music, and I'd try to time my stall with a, musical kind of note or beat or whatever. And that was kind of the exciting part for me, but I really didn't learn almost at all until meeting Ryan in 2019. That was when I got kind of excited. It was there's a lot to do with these things, I was hooping pretty seriously, but poi was definitely after. So it was 2015, kind of started flow arts, knew what poi was, but then 2019, was when I actually started doing things, really practicing, doing partner poi, all that jazz.
Wow. Okay. So great. And that's, what a good way to get more into poi with Ryan, the man himself. So tell us, we can get into your partner poi journey. When you two had met, and you started getting more involved with poi, Krysten. How did your partner poi relationship develop? How did your early days of that go?
Well, we were traveling at the time. Ryan took me on like a month-long road trip. This was like a very romantic adventure. And so learning partner poi, step one for me was like learning a lot of poi. Like I had no idea what VTG was, like timing and direction. I was like, what? So Ryan was teaching me a lot of that, just like basic kind of flowers and, that kind of jazz, so that we could tunnel. And then we kind of tackled more partner poi stuff. So,
which I think is probably the way that it should be done, because you have to have a certain level, like a baseline as far as flowers and timings and all these little weird intricacies. But really, I'm sure that it just impacted your partner poi style greatly and made you more qualified and confident in the style, for sure.
Well, and I learned to spin like him. So then when we did partner poi, I was like, oh, like I do the things and I try to look like him already. So this is good.
Great.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which is all I know, by the way, is steal like an artist.
No, I didn't even think about that. But of course, I mean, two artists that spend a lot of time together. I mean, even me and Joey have, I pretty much have taught him from ground up. Obviously he's learned a lot, on his own at this point. But yeah, if you spend a lot of time around certain artists, and you just kind of gravitate towards this weird, like towards each other in this weird trajectory where you end up being more similar. So I'm sure that's just applied with you guys very greatly.
Yeah, I'd say too, like Krysten's hoop background was incredibly body informed, right? And so partner poi was a really nice avenue. Like honestly, partner poi also teaches a lot of the same basics. So like we've had a lot of fun teaching people partner poi without them knowing any poi. And by the end of it, they can do like chase the sun or 2-petal in spins, or 3-beat weave, all because, they've done half of it with someone else.
Nice. That's so cool. What a good way to teach somebody.
Yeah, like you don't have to learn poi and then do partner poi. You can actually learn a lot of poi through partner poi. Like it's it can be one or the other, which is really, really neat.
Yeah,
nice. I love that.
We tackled a lot of like a related foundation, both coincidentally and a little bit on purpose, like which has just made teaching really straightforward, and like our curriculum came together really smoothly. But when we were traveling, it was there were like 6, I think, maybe 4 to 6 flow arts festivals, all weekend after weekend.
Nice.
And for some stupid reason, decided to do them all, which was great.
Oh my goodness, what a run. Holy.
So at a lot of them, we started to do partner poi skill shares. I had learned partner poi from Corey and Alicia at Kinetic in like 2017 or 18. And then I did a bunch of partner poi at PoiCon, which I went to twice.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. Don't hit me with that. That's like the one that I really, really want to go to. I hope they start doing it in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot more than just an event that has to happen for us to get to go.
Yeah.
So
that's a touchy. It's a sore subject for a lot of folks, especially with the community that we have in both of the affected areas. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about PoiCon. PoiCon happens in Russia. Used to happen in Russia pre-pandemic, and then everything went to shit. So. But we still have so many great people in both areas, and it's something that I really hope comes back, because we just have so many amazing leaders over there, and yeah, it's just awesome. But yeah, sorry, continue. PoiCon, I'm so jealous.
Katya and Stefan are 2 folks. They're just partner poi on YouTube. Like they win. That's their YouTube channel. And they had a lot of really solid performances, but no tutorials. So like the virtual content wasn't really there, but fortunately, I connected it to all the fundamentals. I got to explore a lot with just random people, Not long after picking it up more seriously with Krysten, a local friend of mine around here, Natalie, she and I started getting together once a week for Partner Poi, and that was really good just for the three of us. We were never really in the same place together very often, so everybody was just getting better.
Oh, cool.
You know, meanwhile, Kristen's like teaching everybody back home all the Partner Poi she can too. So
yeah. Well, and then like 2 months later, after they start getting together weekly, that was when I ended up landing in the States. You know, like it was kind of January 2020 or so that I think Ryan kind of got back from PoiCon, starts practicing with Natalie, and then we go to Flow Motion in 2020. Yeah.
Like that's where I think the journey goes, is that after my year with her as a road trip, then we go back and forth to see each other whenever we can. I host a Poi and a Partner Poi workshop back home, and then we start meeting up at events. So like first was Flow Fest in Chicago. We stayed there a couple extra days and then went down. And so we're actually like applying to, you know, the next year of the circuit and getting applied for 2020, right? Which didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But we had flights that we sure bought, you know? So, you know, we're teaching at Flow Motion during like March 17th, like the
Oh
new
my goodness.
taking it seriously here. People at the event are starting to like not hug, you know? And just, it was this back and forth. Like first there's just, you know, free refunds, and I'm going to fly out to Canada in a couple weeks anyway. Let's just go together. And it's only supposed to be a couple weeks.
Right. That's what I thought.
So it just extended. And then after it gets extended to about 6 months, you have to, you know, make a decision. And my decision was to ask Krysten to marry me so she didn't have to go anywhere. And it was pretty great.
My heart. Oh my goodness. That was so cute. Okay. All right. That was great. That is adorable and what a great story. It makes me very happy. So let's go on to, I've been really excited to get into this question. Who, in your earlier days of poi spinning, you had kind of mentioned a couple names that really inspired you, but and this could be partner poi related or individual poi related. Who were some of the people that were inspiring you during your earlier years?
So the Google Doc that we have, there's a YouTube video that just says Ryan ? And it's glow stringing at college. Like, I think you should play it. I think
okay. Cool. All right, Joey.
I was like, oh, I am gonna go buy glow sticks and shoestrings and start fucking around more seriously.
Oh, can we swear? Sweet. Are we allowed to swear?
Yes, of course. We swear all the fucking time. That's a great thing about not being, you know, popular enough or whatever, big enough to have it be monetized yet. So we get a little rowdy in here every once in a while.
I hope you get enough viewers that it's worth it to fix it in post and gift it.
Thank you. We want to keep it pretty authentic and not like, I don't know, not like not swearing wouldn't be authentic, but it's kind of just a part of I want to be able to, you know, relax and, you know, not worry so much about every little thing I'm saying, even though I already do.
You'll fit right in.
Yeah, exactly.
Articulating my thoughts. I don't need to worry about filtering them too.
Yeah. Joey's locating the link, but in the meantime, Krysten, if you want to tell us maybe somebody that inspired you in the earlier days as well, just while Joey's pulling that up.
Man, again, like early days, I was mostly hooping. Like I remember my first hoop jams, there was like one lonely guy spinning poi. Like it was like it was like my first few flow jams, and I was not incredibly social, you know, and at this point in my flow journey. And yeah, there was just this like one lonely guy that was spinning poi and nobody really talked to him. And so I didn't have a lot of like poi spinners around me for the first, I don't know, like 3 years. I didn't really seek it out. So it was like, you know, met Ryan. He was obviously a huge inspiration. And then, you know, everybody on the circuit that I'm meeting. But
totally.
I mean, now it's like Laura.
She's so
all day.
Cool.
Just like her steez, like the sway, like I love it. I'm about it. Zeus is doing really, really amazing stuff, like dancerly stuff that I'm really about. So those are two that really stand out to me like now. But like early on I was just jamming by myself in my onesie.
Hey Ryan, while me and Krysten talk, if you want to send Joey the link to that one more time so he can find it.
I think
you can also just YouTube glow stringing at college.
Okay. All right.
Let's
see if you can find it. But yeah, that's great. And I'm sure, I mean, just being thrown, in when you were in your days of really being inspired and meeting Ryan initially, and just being kind of thrown into the deep end and into the circuit, I'm sure that it was just a whole different world of realizing, how many people do it and how passionate people are about it. And I think he's located it. So that's super cool.
You beat me to it.
A lot of people don't get they don't get to experience flow festivals or stuff like that for a long time until they're much deeper. That was so cool.
Right?
It's long and there's some ups and downs, but definitely a lot to like. I think too, I realize now that the way it's recorded really shows off the flowers and things.
Oh, totally.
So there was a sense of really appreciating that.
Yeah, it's funny. The old school videos, the quality of the cameras are just bad enough to where it's you can really see the pedals a lot more. That's funny.
Yeah, so YouTube suggested tutorials and stuff. Really Nicky Evers right off the bat kind of blew me away with his flow show performance.
Absolutely. Shout out to Nicky Evers.
Yeah, the thing flow arts kind of filled for me was as a kid I wanted to do a lot of various arts, but I didn't actually enjoy pretty much any of them. And the process of getting better was no fun. But so stringing and stuff really made learning tricks was a little bit easier, and then just learning to move around while doing tricks somehow is more achievable. Hide behind a thing a bit.
Yes, totally.
So
from this area, I always think of Yuta and the earliest videos of him doing glow string videos and fire performances, and this is just so reminiscent of the times where flowers were just the thing. Good times.
Oh, they're still the thing.
They are still the thing. They are still, but back then that was all we had. There was no poi juggling. There was no contact poi.
Yeah, people have, I think especially Americans have a fear of doing the same thing for a whole 8 count. And if they did, there would be a certain element of enjoyability to more eyes. It'd be more visually inclusive.
I agree with that. Because sometimes I'll do a pattern that maybe I'll run it once or twice, but it's hard, especially, even for flow artists sometimes, but it's especially muggles. It's really hard for them to see the trick and be even have an idea of what's happening.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, you got to give them time to visually digest it. Sometimes when I'm performing, I'll hold, some kind of flashy something, right? And it's I feel like I'm holding it almost too long. And then the crowd starts cheering, and I'm oh, okay, yep, no, this feels like a long time,
Nice.
Yeah, once they have time to see, oh, one of them's doing this and the other one's doing that, they can get it and, get excited.
I really like that insight. That's something that I should definitely keep in mind more so when I'm building choreographies, and give myself a couple times to go run through the pattern and actually let them see and absorb.
Yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure I've seen this video, but maybe it's just been so long that I don't even remember. But so many really good, these original YouTube videos that were being released really inspired so many people. It's kind of crazy.
Well, and the magic of even just the internet, without even going to events, right? I was able to find this guy sharing the video to a Facebook page, and then interact with him and say like, dude, I spit a lot of poi, and it's because you posted this video.
Oh, that's the sweetest compliment.
Sort of thing I'd want to know. That's like my reason to spin poi. Honestly, it's like I just hope somebody sees something they like and tries something new.
No, seriously, it's crazy. I've told this story on the podcast before, but me and Joey had been friends for a long time, probably like, I don't know, maybe we had been friends for like 10 years at the point, and so we've been hanging out for a long time. And then Joey one day picked up the poi. Like I kind of really encouraged him to pick it up, and then he did a gunslinger because he thought it was super cool. He wanted to learn a gunslinger. And then I was like, oh, you're having fun over there, huh? Kind of like egging him on a little bit. And then, yeah, from then on out, he just picked him up and here we are today. But it's just so funny. Sometimes people need the little like push to actually try it. And maybe that's comes from seeing a video. Maybe that comes from your friend putting the poi in your hand and being like, have fun, like go for it, so
it's like as adults, it's like we need to be allowed to be bad at something or something, it's
totally
like given permission. Like we don't really need that, but some of us it just really helps.
Yeah,
totally.
We both have had a lot of good luck and a lot of like magic from really focusing on more regional and local community, and like doing oh man.
What is it?
No.
Slow jams?
Yeah.
Not sure.
Oh.
Local communities.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Forget it.
It's okay. You'll remember. We'll come back.
Yeah, right.
I want to get into some of the meat and potatoes of the partner poi exploration and the frameworks. So I remember earlier in my journey, I saw when I first had seen partner poi, I cannot remember for the life of me who I saw. But I remember being pretty blown away that partner poi was just kind of becoming it was becoming really something. And there was, couples working on frameworks and people working on, new ideas. So tell us, maybe some frameworks that y'all have explored or some couples that have inspired you. We can start getting into some of that.
No, what? Me first?
You looked excited.
I think it's a great topic. That's all. I think you should go first. I feel embarrassed from forgetting my thought.
I mean, as far as frameworks, like I know that Drex had that video little series, which was, enjoyed that. I don't know, there's that DVD from Flow Toys. As far as just like resources that were in existence kind of before we were practicing. But a lot of it we just kind of figured out by watching videos, I think. And then, whatever background Ryan kind of had from learning, at Kinetic and PoiCon and stuff. So yeah, we really had to do a lot of our own work as far as just language. And I feel like that's still a lot of the work that we're doing with Partner Poi is just figuring out like, so with BTG, there's already timing and direction, right? Which is already its own level of, it's not too complicated, but it gets a lot more complicated when you think about like 4 poi, and there's like the facing of the people and the timing and direction of these 2 poi relative to one another and these 2 poi relative to one another and then these 2 poi relative to it's like there's a lot going on, and so you really need to kind of get specific on what the hell you're talking about so that the other person can know like what you're about to do. So that's been kind of probably the hardest but most helpful thing in terms of just like being efficient in practice, because if you can't talk about it, it's really just a disaster.
I'm sure that's so interesting. I've haven't really quite thought about it like that before, the way that you had just explained it with 4 poi, timing, direction. So that all applies. That all definitely applies because there's split time, same time, all that stuff, and it works together,
Yeah, take just two people in like a tunnel. They're not even doing connected partner poi. And you've got the timing and direction of the hands, where you have self, partner, there's two selves and the partner timing, and like a combination of that, right? So I've always been a huge fan of the like techie lingo. And a few years ago, I probably would not have been, a pro element, guy. But with partner poi in the mix, not saying together same time, but saying earth, pretty easy, pretty fast.
Yep.
So
I was exposed to that so late in my life as far as the earth and like wind. Yeah, I never knew that terminology.
Same.
I was not familiar with that for
Yeah,
a long time.
that was I had heard of it, and I just had a really hard time implementing it and remembering like which one was which, and it didn't really make sense. So in March, I was able to go to 괤ᴛᴜ and take, hours of classes and really just let it like sink in. I kind of made a point to be like, all right, I'm gonna remember this stuff, and then after that, I just found it very useful because then I can say like, all right, self, earth, partner, water, and that's a lot less syllables than like self, together, same, partner, split, same. Like it's just
totally
same stuff, but it's a lot easier in my mind, and I get a more visual sense of just when you say water, I'm like, yep, this one.
Shout out to 괤ᴛᴜ and 괤ᴛᴜ.
Yes,
it's an amazing insight on what you learned and how significant it was to your understanding of timing, direction, all that. Shout out to 괤ᴛᴜ. If you haven't seen 괤ᴛᴜ's episode, go back and watch it. It's amazing. Such an incredible dude.
Yep. He's awesome.
Amazing human being. Joey's hovering over a PoiCon performance. We're going to get into this one. I'm excited to see what y'all have sent me. I go back and watch all of these performances, but I don't know if I've gotten into this one.
One more shout out, as long as we're doing that. If I'm not mistaken, Ronan named the elements for timing. So
shout out to Ronan McLaughlin. What a beautiful individual. Ronan plans on coming on the podcast soon. I'm really excited. Yeah, Ronan's the man. I went back and I watched his TED Talks. He did a TED Talk on learning how to learn, which I think is just... I've thought about this independently a lot, and I've thought about how my ability to learn is a skill, and learning is a skill, and the way that he dissects it and breaks it down in terms of poi and in relation to his own life, but makes it applicable for everybody is just amazing to hear. So if y'all haven't checked that out, go watch that. It's an amazing interview, and I think it just applies to so many aspects of life for sure.
So what I want to throw out there about this performance and like that whole event is that like they're open stage performances of people who are just attending the event and decided that they wanted to perform on that weekend. Like the level of effort going into that, like the passion that is displayed, that is normally like displayed, because somebody's able to book the choreo or put it in a show and make money. But no, these guys just do it. They're just people who love it a lot.
Oh, that's so cool, isn't it? Just these people that are so like, sometimes there are people who don't want to be releasing videos. They're not really about the whole internet presence. They don't really, it doesn't resonate so much with them. But what does resonate with them is the art, and finding people that are just a little bit more off the grid and that are just as passionate about it as anybody. And I'm sure that, those people really come out at these events. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Ooh, it's about to happen.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Did you catch at the beginning that these girls were like in straitjackets, like, and their arms are like their poi are the straitjacket?
So cool.
Like, I just love that stuff.
Yeah, what a unique idea that they're doing here, and to be incorporating four poi is just so next level as far as partner poi goes, right?
Yeah, like there's no connected partner poi in this, and it's still one of my favorite like partner poi acts.
Yeah, which it just speaks to the level of diversity that Partner Poi brings to the table, because you can just be doing tunnels, you can be doing people just side by side, or you could be doing people connected. And it's just, I mean, you could do it all, you know?
Agreed.
So cool. I'm so glad that you got to go and experience this. I'm sure I'm just so jealous. I'm going to stop saying how jealous I am. I swear. Let's say last time.
It's worth being jealous of. Like, I wish everybody was able to go, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, if it's any consolation, it's hella expensive, and you know, uh, other than that, it's totally worth it. Sorry.
Yeah. I was a little busy back in 2019 anyway, so couldn't have made it regardless. But great reference video. Thank you for sending that.
Yeah, it was really special for me. Like, I think when I started to like encounter, Russian as like a style, I think that it's just the largest group of people doing the thing I like about Poi the most.
Yes.
But they're not necessarily always the best, like, at it, or like, not to knock anybody's skill. I just mean that it's not necessarily the main focus. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Talking to Mel about this and his upbringing and his early days, I kind of understand a little bit more culturally behind what was happening in Russia, specifically related to flow arts and Poi, because they were just pushing tech Poi so hard back then, and they had a big group. I mean, they were just all pushing each other. So, I mean, there's so many talented people out of there, and you're right, as far as like stylistically, Russian like style is so unique to that region. It's so cool.
Yeah, I think I just meant to say earlier that it's not all that there is. Like, it's the best example of a lot of what I like the most about, like, the experience of poi spinning, like how it feels to spin. Doing the things that they do, like copying them, feels better than copying pretty much anybody else.
That's so cool. That was a great way to say that. Well, I want to just dive into more of these videos that y'all sent me, because this has been a treat to see videos that I don't normally run into or don't normally watch. So I'm excited to see this next one. Chosen Flippin's cool one here.
There are there's 3 playlists that I sent you that are actually all collaborative. So, like, if people have those links, they can add videos to these playlists too. It's just
cool.
Great Poi performances, great Partner Poi performances, and Partner Poi tutorials.
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Wow, this is super nice. Yeah, I mean, just even that opening was wonderful. That was more like a traditional style dance, actually. But
you don't even hear the music, do you?
Yeah, these guys always hit just.
Can you do that
so perfectly?
If we're really quiet, can we do that?
So we can hear it, but unfortunately we can't have.
That's good. Yeah. That's good that you can hear.
Okay. And y'all, if you want to pause the video, this is obviously linked in the description of our video. So any video that we cover in this, you can go back and watch on your own and get audio, actually have the full experience. Oh my gosh, beautiful timing. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know how many times we watched this playlist, but it's a lot.
Oh my gosh. No, I mean, the choreography is just immaculate. This is amazing. I'm very much enjoying this. Thank you for sending this.
Yeah, Partner Poi has some of the most potential to, like, be recognizable. Like, it looks so much like other partner dance. It's more connected. People associate it with whether it's like romance or just dance in general.
Totally.
So, like, there's something special about that in my mind, as far as, like, I don't think about popularizing the art form deliberately so much as, like, what are the best parts about it? What are the things that benefit people the most and should therefore, create popularity? And to me, it's stuff like this, like creating more shared experiences.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And I think it's a benefit for all of us that, people are seeing the beauty behind it and they're seeing how amazing the art form is, and it's getting bigger. And I feel like that's, a testament to what we're doing is very beautiful and unique. And it's a lifelong journey for learning and developing. That was so good. That was so good.
You can play more videos. It's fine.
Okay. So yeah. We'll dive in. Yeah, that was whew. And I'm sorry, I don't know actually off the top of my head because I've never seen that video. Who were those artists?
That was Katya and Stefan, I want to say, yeah.
Katya,
so partner ploy on YouTube.
yeah.
Katya is One Day Spin. A lot of people don't put even if you do see both groups, maybe you haven't noticed that.
Okay.
Oh, this is a really cute video, and it's so much better with the music. So why I included this video was I have been totally geeking out on light programming. We recently got Kyocera props, and so I just sit there on LT Composer and I just like dissect every little moment of the song that I want to like visually kind of enhance, and it's just a blast. So this is a video from Utah, and I just find it so cute. The music is like da 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 da. It's, you got to see it with the music. I swear, it's the cutest.
That's your motivation to go check out the video, y'all. Anybody watching this? Yeah, and really quick, just on the subject, I'm gonna shout him out just one more time, because I love him, and he's doing a lot of special stuff with light programming as well. But Voight has been going down that alleyway hard.
So good.
Yeah, this and projection mapping are some of the things that, again, they increase the audience capacity. Like, so regardless of performing, for a gig, but like just any context, how can you entertain more people at once? And it is like more set design and, more cohesiveness in terms of things like choreography and costuming, setting the stage.
Yep. Everybody loves a light show too. Everybody loves a light show.
Absolutely. And who better to choreograph something like this than Yuta, the man.
Right? It's been so really cool. Fun. What we've been doing recently is I have a lot of they're not quite acts because they're not fully choreographed like in a movement sense, but I have the whole light choreography, programmed on like the Bugang or the Poi or the Moon fans or whatever. And we'll just give them to whatever performer. Because we've got a troupe of about like 8 or 10 people, give or take. So I'll just hand them the prop and I'm like, all right, your lights are choreographed. Do whatever you want.
That's so cool. But it works though, because it's more choreographed than just having props that are not doing that are not synced, right?
Yeah. And so it's really fun to see sometimes the audience is responding to the performer more, and sometimes the audience is responding to my lights. And it's like, it's really cool to see like both. So that's been a really, really fun kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that side as well.
I think the dynamics of like other people enjoying this are really fascinating to me and like important to me. Like, from a performance standpoint, regardless of again, like performing in terms of being an artist, not performing in terms of being a professional.
Totally. And there's such not a clear distinction, but when so I feel like I can tech spin all day. But in recent years, I've really been trying to take my stage presence and my body movement and everything like that to a greater level, because I don't want to just be a poi spinner. I want to be a performer, and you can be both, obviously, but something to be said for somebody who is just a badass performer, and they can really take that concept and that thing to a next level for sure.
Yeah, I love the way performative spinning can feel. Like, whether I'm performing or not, like just getting sort of as big as I can, as animated as I can, like just really diving into like the music And sometimes I'll even visualize myself like, all right, I'm at Electric Forest performing, or like I'm at whatever, and
Totally.
it's a cool zone to be in. Like I find doing those like really big patterns and whatever, like actually just feels so good in the body too.
Totally. Yeah, I think a lot of us do that, but I do that very much as well. I'm sometimes it's inspiring. I feel like I get a little too stressed out by like stage fright and all that shit sometimes, but don't we all, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're not nervous, then you probably don't care.
It's true. I love that. I love that. Cool. I'm excited to see what we're gonna see next. This is great.
Which one is this? Oh, is this us at IJA?
Oh snap!
I think this is us
Is
at IJA.
it? Oh.
See much until like, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or 40 seconds in.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
So
Sweet. I'm excited to see.
Natalie, really created a lot of magic. Like our partner poi classes would not have been, the same without like her input into the curriculum and the experience that we all got teaching together, as well as the value of an odd number of instructors or multiple instructors for partner poi, So big shout out to Natalie. We really love you, and she's moving and we're going to miss her. Say that because.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, like I just want her to feel really special because she is.
And yeah, creating this act was such a blast. Like we created this, I think we worked about twice a week for maybe, I don't know, practices were maybe like 2 hours ish on average. And I think we made it over the course of like 6 months or so. It was actually built for fire. So like this whole part in the beginning, we were supposed to have palm torches, kind of got like adapted to LEDs. But yeah, this act was so much fun to make. It was so much fun to perform with Natalie kind of all over the circuit. And then with teaching as well. It's like, yeah, I just watch it and I'm like having trouble even talking. I'm like, oh, what a good memory.
Totally. I mean, the rewarding aspects of it paying off, as well as just the memorabilia of, putting yourself back in that time frame and the event and memories that come along with it. Totally.
Yep. This video is from the IJA Flow Show. So shout out to Noelle actually for inviting us to that.
Shout out to Noelle. That's awesome.
Yep.
The theater in this venue, that we got to perform in, is absurdly beautiful.
IJA in general is like an event that people should go to. It'll be in Green Bay in 2024, so we're definitely going to be there.
Okay.
Partner poi at IJA.
Yeah, I love to see it. Yeah, and I love seeing poi at IJA. I've said this multiple times, but it's great to see more high level representation in the juggling community for poi, and getting it out there a little bit more. Wow, this is amazing. Just not being able to see your body.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. But yeah, juggling festivals in general, like it was definitely how I got started. Like I went to Frostbite in 2018, but I had been going and performing at juggling festivals since about like 2015 or 16. And I just love that they're indoors. I love that like they're genuinely the same vibe as a Flow Fest in the way that like, it's a sea of people doing cool circusy things, but it is also a different enough vibe that I just highly recommend people go to one,
Absolutely. I really do want to go to one. I've been neglecting my my event attendance, but that will be changing here soon.
Same. We kind of took a year off of Flow Fests and like that sort of event, mostly just for gig sake. Focusing on the business and whatever. It's like I feel like we kind of like did a lot of the circuit last year. And we like built this act and toured it around. It was like, we were really proud of it. And then this year we're like, okay, we didn't really build like an act that we were super excited to tour or anything. We're like, all right, like maybe we should just focus on the business, and getting more momentum with that. And so no regrets, but I definitely, and local community. It's like weekly jams have been a hit.
Where was Ryan's 6-point solo act? Well, you handed him all the poi, Ryan.
He's so good.
No, but that's great though that your business is doing well and the flow jams are your local meetups are doing great. We're in a similar place, I feel, in Boise right now, where we're trying to build up the community more. We're working on our own performance crew and I feel like a lot of people are kind of in a similar position where they're trying to build up the people around them and just embrace our community a little bit more. So, I mean, that's good news, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to forewarn you that if we turn our direction into how could festivals be better, that's it. That's the whole, that we're going to be there. That's where we're part.
Yeah, let's get into the, we might as well get into that conversation. So, so first of all, tell us what we kind of can all imagine what we love about festivals, but tell us what you love about festivals and how do you think they can improve?
Okay.
That's a big question.
But it's all we think about. No, I want to say mainly that I think really big focuses, if we shift our focus like a lot on building up our local communities, that's going to justify festivals better. So we really got to get these, you need a couple cat herders in your community. It's not easy. It's not, but you can do it. Facebook events. It's dumb shit. It's dumb, stupid things.
Consistency. Like if you just give people a spot to be on a day of the week, they will eventually come.
The number of people who fit into either of these categories is way, way bigger than we think it is. People who would go to flow jams if they knew where they were, and people who would try flow arts if they found out what a flow jam was. Like that group of people is enormous. And it's not, the people who would say yes, who would do it. Like I know just when we run these jams and people walk by, and if some kid's in color guard and he wants to mess with our stuff, or just any variety of people have, I used to juggle, or I had a gym class with juggling, right?
Yeah, well, all it takes is finding a spot. You don't have to have a fire jam, right? Just you don't need to right away. So it's find a spot, commit to a practice day with a speaker. If it's just you for a while, that's all it is, But again, if you're consistent about a day of the week and you can say we jam on Sundays from 12 to 3, it's, and then we also have a group chat. We also just kind of operate with a group chat that it's
yep.
You got to reduce all friction. You got to maximize how easy it is for people to know things and participate as easily as possible.
You're speaking my language. We're going through this in Boise. I know I have a lot of friends in Boise that listen to this podcast. You know who you are. We go through it every day.
There's two types of regulars you need. You need the regulars that do the same work as you, and the regulars that just show up and introduce, they're just great energy. I'm going to say it. I'm going to be a hippie about it.
Yeah, totally. You're absolutely right. We all play our various roles in the community. Some people are better at, the legal side of things. Shout out to Bug for handling all our, insurance and our this and that, and, street permits and all this shit. But then, there's people who are better at, instructing, putting together a, fire safety class, all this stuff that goes into having a strong, healthy community and the things that we really need to develop and progress for sure.
Yeah. Well, and then, unless you have more to say about local stuff.
I do the one finishing thought, but I'll wait.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I would say that the biggest direction shift that the events themselves need to take is precision. It's okay to do 2 or 3 props, and it's okay to do literally 1 prop and have 3 to 5 instructors teaching curriculums that are related course material that you learn over the course of a couple of days that you are already there for anyway.
Yeah.
So like from the infrastructure side of hosting it, that's the direction that makes a lot of sense from just so many angles. Like we really hope we did a we did 괰ᴜᴜᴜ, did a Poi and Partner Poi event. That was a really big success, and a big part of its success was local community. Like it had people's eyes on it. I think a lot of people would come if we started doing it every year, but you know, there's just so much to be gained, so much of a value add if we formalize that much, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
On a similar kind of note, I was gonna say, like crop specific events. You know, like we did the 괰ᴜᴜ, Poi Parliament. You know, I don't know what they're doing. PoiCon in Russia. You know, when it existed, that Dragon Staff Spintensive. I realize it's not really Poi related, but but Dragon Staff Spintensive, like Christina. It's funny. Yeah, Ninja Pirate Christina. It's funny. I was literally planning like a very similar event with almost the same instructors, and then I kind of just like lost steam on it because there's so many other things that I want to do at once. And a couple months later, I see Christina's running it, and I'm like, yes, like prop specific events. Like I so value being able to like focus on something and really dedicate time. Like, you know, gonna shout out 괰ᴜ one more time with Guadaflow because that event was 10 days. It was really, you know, it was really easy to immerse yourself in whatever it was. Like there was, you know, curriculum style classes for multiple things. Like it wasn't necessarily prop specific, but again, with 10 days, you can do that. You can manage to have more things. And there wasn't 5 teachers for every prop. There was 1. You know, and so you really got to, you really got to learn. Like I got to take all of 괰ᴜ's advanced Poi class. Like I got to take all of them. I got to learn, you know, Bugang in like a very more introductory sense, but I got like 3 solid classes that gave me like you know, enough things and fundamentals. So yeah, I just think that a lot of flow festivals are trying to do too much and fill the schedules too much. Yeah.
I get you. And well, on the prop specific things, I mean, high altitude hoop retreat seems to be doing very well. That's another one that's hoop specific.
Yeah.
Hoopers get it.
Yeah, they're killing it. They're killing it. Shout out to y'all. It's beautiful to just be on the sidelines. Obviously, I'm not a hooper, but I love seeing people connect and you know, come together over the same thing. And flow festivals do it. But yeah, I mean, having a specific event to like Poi Parliament or PoiCon is just very, very essential to our craft. So
yep, different space.
I really want to add that, like, there is still value and magic at an event with 1 class for everything. Yeah. That's just got to be a small piece of the pie of our events, right? And I think FAI would be a great like potential sort of foundation for that, is like, let them do all the catch-all events, you know, and then have a lot of us start to do some more refined, smaller things.
More intensives.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to say that, you know, the perception that a prop specific event you shouldn't bring other things to is all wrong. Like at PoiCon and Poi Parliament, we're all jamming. You know, it's Russia and California. Like we're just jamming with everything. Everybody's doing whatever. But
totally,
you know, so just don't let that dominate as like a concern. Like it's still the same group of people that just wants to work on stuff where there's a high ceiling in the sun.
Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh, shout out to the high ceiling and yeah, indoor. I'm yet to go to an indoor flow arts or juggling event. I've actually only been to 2 flow arts festivals as of right now. I'm attending 2 next month. I'm performing and teaching at both of them, but yeah, I'm pretty new to the whole festival thing, which is crazy considering, you know, I started back in 2007, but I was so young and disconnected from, you know, the wider, broader community. I only had my community in Salt Lake and YouTube. So you know, my brother and I never got out to any of these bigger events. And So it's great, it kind of coming into that thing, you know, a little bit later in the game, but I mean, there's just so much to love about these events and so many people to connect with, and, you know, seeing your little festival buddies that you're like, see them, and, you know, pretty much, I mean, the community is very connected in that way. We're not so big that it's like, I have no idea anybody that's here. So
yeah,
it's
I
really
could
cool.
get from that for sure. You know, it's
Mhm.
like glyph just happening. Like, it's like, oh, there's a lot of homies there that I, you know, would have liked to be at that one. Had some FOMO there, but
Me
you know,
too. I have FOMO about almost every. It's going to be really hard for me to not attend Kindle this year, but it is unfortunately not in the cards. Sorry to break your heart, Ty, and my other homies and my friends that are going. Won't be able to go this year, but, you know, future. We still got years ahead of us, and there's tons of events coming up here. So, and it's really great to see more grassroots festivals starting up. Like, I've said this multiple times throughout the podcast, but just while we're on the subject, Evan Thibodeau has been killing it with Southwest Flow Fest. Last year was the first year that they did it. This is year 2. And it's just really cool to see somebody take the initiative and organize something special and put a lot of work and care into it. So
I want to shout out Flow Burger. That's another good one where it's like there's no workshop schedule. It's just the Flow Arts camp out. And then my understanding is people are just filling in the schedule when they get there, you know?
That is really cool. I love that idea of just a big, you know, everybody come together and spin. That's amazing. That's just a big flow jam. I mean, that's a camp out. That's awesome. That's really cool. So
yeah, I think like fleshing out the full spectrum of events is going to create that pyramidical structure where we have like a lot of different things happening. Like right now, there's not much of a base and everything's just kind of out of whack.
Yeah, well, and also building up your, you know, like presence in the Poi community with, you know, performing at these smaller events and kind of getting your feet into the performing category and getting some classes under your belt and getting these things, you know, at local or maybe smaller events or whatever. And then kind of that's how you get to the larger, more prestigious performing events and teacher positions at these big events that we all see and really look up to the people that are, you know, doing it and involved and doing the thing. So it's, I mean, going to Kindle, my first one, I saw just so many incredible performers and it really inspired me. I'm like, someday I will do that, you know, and I feel like a lot of people also share that sentiment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to say too, just on the topic of events and kind of the framework of fleshing out more diverse events like Equilibrium, prop battles, big time into that. Like juggling festivals do a really good job of games and competitions and stuff. But Equilibrium, the prop battle, was just such a fun experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. Of course they got us to battle one another. Of course that happened.
Yeah, definitely production strong-handed for sure. There's no way.
That's so funny. Well, they strong-armed Chris and Tim to battle each other in front of everybody. That was hilarious.
That was the year before. Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, I mean, you guys have been to so many events now. I mean, just hearing about you running the circuit and doing the whole thing. Is there any event specifically that really stands out to you or holds a really special place in your heart that you just don't want to miss every year, or you know, maybe a great memory, anything?
Well, I mean, we just talked about Equilibrium, prop battle. Don't think it didn't happen this year. Not sure if they have plans to do that again. But Equilibrium, or anyone who wants to run a prop battle, really, it doesn't have to be Equilibrium. I would buy tickets to that. And then Frostbite no longer happens either, but we used to run that. So that one holds a special place in my heart because it was the first Flow Fest I went to. You know, probably I would say the first big Flow Fest that I like helped organize.
Cool.
Yeah, and again, just like a lot of local homies, right? That was Wisconsin for the most part. It's not like no one would travel to it, but it was definitely a lot of local homies.
Like a regional thing.
Yeah. It's like in the middle of February in Wisconsin, so nobody's traveling like 16 hours or you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, and two, the venue we liked the most was in Wausau, which is like the dead center of Wisconsin. So it's kind of like, everybody's got to drive 2 hours.
Yeah. Totally. That's really cool. And I'm really excited to take, more of these trips out to more regional events. Everything seems much more tight knit, and I'm excited to meet, the communities in various parts of the country. Like even the Arizona crew, like the actual Southwest crew, like they all show up there, and it's awesome seeing how connected they are. And I mean, I just can't wait to come out to the East Coast. I mean, Midwest, and there's so many places to hit up. So many hot spots for sure.
Yeah, I love all the little like stylistic pockets. Like you can tell who all hangs out together. Yeah,
Totally.
and it's like, like you meet a different crew, and you're like, oh, okay, and like, they got these little pockets of tricks, and then these people over here have these little pockets of tricks, and like, I love that.
Absolutely, Ohio is just on a fucking different. What even is Ohio? Full Ohio, killing it. What a random state to be just murdering the game. It's so funny though. But yeah, there are these little concentrations of Florida. It's like Florida. Like, when did that happen? Like, Florida's going crazy. Super cool. So it is now going to be my favorite segment of the podcast. We're gonna turn it over to Joey whenever he's ready. Joey's going to ask the question that our fans write in, and he gets to ask a little silly question if he wants or whatever he feels. So turn it over to Joey.
Joey!
Let me hop in here. Hello!
Hello!
Everybody, give Joey some appreciation. Amazing work, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, honestly. Hopefully you can hear me and I switched to the right mic, but let's hop over to these questions. I'm doing two since there's two of you, so that just seemed fitting.
I'll do as many as you want. This sounds fun.
This is fun.
The first one is from Troy Greisa. He asked, what genre of music is best for playful partner voice sessions?
Ooh. You go. Do you have an answer?
I go.
Do you have an answer? Well, I mean,
probably just any music you both know and like if you have a shared playlist or something. It's kind of, I'm not trying to cop out. I think there's not much of a more creative answer though.
That makes sense to me. I mean, both people have to. I mean, shared playlist. That's probably as good of an answer as I could give it. So,
I would
that's
really agree with that. It's like, sure, there are things where I would say, I don't want to spin to things that are super, super fast, or sometimes if, like on a shared playlist, if something like really vocally intense comes on, like I can't necessarily like focus. So sometimes I'll opt for more like lo-fi, kind of like, depends on what we're working on. If it's something like really mentally intense, then I would say like lo-fi is a really good go-to, because both Ryan and I can kind of be high strung, and it's like, all right, just something to kind of like chill it out a little bit. But familiarity is really, really awesome, because there's lots of times where we'll be like 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're like going on the drop.
Okay, it's so funny that you say that. All my local people here, they all know this about me. I fuck with lo-fi so hard for the same reason. Anything that's like really lyrically intense or vocally intense, I'm on the same exact wavelength. So I completely agree.
Yep. And then I mean sometimes it can be fun. Like sometimes we're down, spinning to Missy Elliott, like whatever. Choreographic can be different, right? It's like sometimes lyrics are helpful to kind of latch onto things, and because I'm going to be doing light choreo with whatever partner poi choreo, it's like then I can put birds in the visual poi when it says birds, and you know what I mean, like fun things like that.
Right.
But in general, when we're like working partner poi, that's like lo-fi zone.
Yeah, I got you. I feel the same way as far as lyrics go. Yeah, lock it in.
Our freestyle is really not wicked developed, and like choreography is how we get away with like longer things, or like staying inside of a family of moves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's like the other exception is like if you choreograph to it, then you know what to do. Or if you have choreography, that's another point. Like if you have sequences on lock in some way, then just re-tempoing it based on what you're hearing, kind of trying to tap into each other with like, oh, maybe we should do one extra beat here so that we
I see.
Drop,
right?
Yeah,
feeding, mixing into it, right? Okay. I lost my spot. All right, and the second one, if your partner Poi was a well-known character duo, who would it be? And this was asked from Poison Ivy on Instagram.
That's so fun. I'll be so bad at this because I watch so like few movies and television shows.
Perfect.
Okay. Who's like a really emotionally intense, dramatic, and extra duo?
Yeah, feel free to jump in.
Okay. No, I'll give you. You can wing that one over. I knew that one was going to put you on the spot. So think about it. Maybe answer it towards the end. But yeah, no. Shout out to Willa. Yeah, appreciate everybody writing in questions and asking. You know, all our diehard fans that love seeing the episodes and they are excited for guests and stuff. We really appreciate you, and it's just awesome having people that really care about it like we do. You know.
Oh yeah. That's why we're excited to be a part of it. It's like,
yeah,
you know, it's all the passion is.
Yeah.
That's something I try really hard to pay attention to as like my art, and our art gets monetized more and becomes a bigger part of our income. It's like, okay, just make sure that this is always something that's important to me and us still, you know?
So important. Yeah, so important. And like I was saying to you both off the air a little bit, and I've said this again, you know, several times before, but I had just been leading up to creating the podcast. I had been really wanting to listen to people talk about Poi, and Drex was one of the only people that had any kind of videos actually discussing Poi. So I was just pretty much came to the consensus, if nobody else is going to run the podcast, I will unfortunately be the person to do it. But
I mean,
yeah,
that's the direct comment that I got from Drex was like, so like, should we do more of these? He's like, no, I think somebody, you know, I think somebody could do it. It's not working for me, but someone should totally do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you two had reached out pretty early on. So we've had this episode scheduled for several months now, which has been really cool to look forward to. Just because we need, you know, unique guests, diversity all across the board. We want to get, you know, different points of, you know, of contact from people and hear different experiences, motivations. Like some of my favorite episodes. I mean, I love all the guests that I've interviewed, but just sometimes I have an episode with people that I just, you know, I walk away with more than I thought I would. So it's really cool to hear that from people.
That's
Get more women on here.
I know. I have some really good episodes scheduled. Ladies, you know who you are. We got some great ones coming up.
Okay, I was going to say, because I had a list and I was like,
yeah, we got some. Yeah, we got some good ones. I don't want to like spoil, but maybe, you know what, I will spoil because anybody that's this far in, you know, I know that you love the podcast. So we got Lexi coming up. We got Anna Vincenza coming up. Who else do we have? I've reached out to several people.
Whoa. What are you going to spoil next week?
Next week, who is next
you
week?
Don't want to spoil it all.
I do. No, I do know whose next episode is actually Connor Kilbane. So shout out to Connor.
Nice.
Yeah, really excited to chat with him. He's one of my favorite spinners at the moment, and he just thinks about it in such a unique way. I mean, the way he's able to string all these ideas together is just wild, for sure. So I'm excited. We just got so many people that are really, you know, interested, and it's been an honor to run it.
I think he's actually a really good example of something I kind of like was pointing out earlier, and that's like I look at it very comically as like a refusal to do a whole trick. Like you'll start a trick and then mold it into the next trick, and then mold it into the next trick. It's like all a fraction of something that you know they can do on repeat, but instead they did 20 things they can do on repeat and turn it into a 10-second, like, what the hell?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that was a great way of explaining the style too. I mean, totally just breaking down little fractions of the pattern and constantly changing it. Really excited to chat with him. Shout out to you, Connor. Who do y'all want to see on the podcast?
Or should I send it to you?
Anybody that you want to see on the podcast, you give them a shout out. Yeah, it was actually brings me to my next question. Who do you want to see?
So Liz Knights. You
Wait,
already said Lexi.
Tell her, hit up Liz. We love Liz very much. She does want to contribute in that sense, and she's done interviews before. I think she's just like, she's so busy and doing all her own thing. But we're gonna send her the clip and be like, Liz, come on. But yeah, all right, cool.
Just take her where she's at. She won't be upset if every month or so you're like, when should I check in next? That's it.
Just
when should I check in next?
Totally, I know.
Yeah, so Liz, you got Lexi, so she was on my list. Vana, Danielle, Alexis May. I don't know if Laura or Zeus would or Katya, but like those three, it would be great.
Yeah, totally. Who's another girl I really wanted to schedule? Zeus Satova. Yeah, yep. Zeus is another amazing. Yeah. Yes, I mean, there's just we're very blessed to have so many amazing artists out there. We're getting connected with more people, and getting more people interested in the project, and it's a testament to the artists that kind of took a chance with us and wanted to come on during our earliest episodes, and believed in us to do it right and try to make everybody feel comfortable and really give them the respect to their career and their passion that they deserve.
And you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, yes we do. And yeah, it's been really cool. So yeah, what a great list. Thank you, Ryan. Do you have anybody?
People we want to see on here?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kai. Sorry, yes.
Well, Keely would be a really good one. Yep. Helped run Flame for a long time. Super dope spinner. Great, as far as somebody like has a lot of really awesome insight and context, So I think that's something I like about all this is like the value of kind of storytelling and shared experience,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've gotten a lot of the people that I would tell you to get on.
Yeah, it's true. They've done good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people that I'm like, I have like my actual scheduled hot episodes, and then I have like right next to it, I'm like dream list. Like, this is who I really want to get on, but we'll hopefully get them on down the line. I got people that I, like Surreal or like, Ronan's actually, me and Ronan have been chatting recently. Ronan is somebody that I very much look up to. And then I want to get, oh my goodness, I always forget Keith's partner's name. Keith Marshall. Do you guys know his partner's name? I'm the worst. I forget every time. But Keith and his partner,
Antonio.
That sounds right. Yeah, we could look. I'm gonna look actually.
No, I'm gonna look.
Okay. You look. But yeah, Keith. I mean, is very inspirational in my early days when he was doing his little thing around the U.S. and hanging out with Marvin and doing all his his juggling escapades around. And yeah, I mean, Keith's the man. I gotta reach out to that man and be like, hey, buddy.
Alicia.
And then
Corey and Alicia would be Lund would be really good ones as well, as far as people who put a lot of work into it and also have gone more of the juggling route in some ways and more throws, more unorthodox stuff, more experimental in a good way. I don't know how it would ever happen, but like any of the teachers that are around, like, and I mean to say, like, I'm thinking of people in Eastern Europe, Russia and Ukraine again, which is tough. but it's like there are schools there with like what seems like 6-week classes where people are learning choreography, and like
It's insane.
It's like I want you to interview people I don't even know. That's
I know.
I do have a good suggestion. But first, it was Keith Marshall.
I'm pretty sure it is Antonia, right?
Antonia.
Yeah, okay. I sat on it for a second and I realized that is correct. They would be amazing to have on. They're both so talented. Holy crap. It's crazy. I mean, in the current landscape of like online culture and stuff, I feel like it's just they're criminally under talked about and underrated. Like I don't even think they're really posting videos. I mean, they don't really, like, they do, but it's not like, a primary focus. They just do it and have done it for a long time. It's just different perspectives and motivations and all that stuff. But oh my God, they're just killing it. It's crazy.
Caitlin Louise is an instructor in South Africa that I would recommend. Does a lot of dance and footwork with sort of downbeats and things. Has a really good. I think a lot of people have done a lot of magic, like with prop dance, where we're finding the shared foundation of like a lot of footwork, for example, and just weight shifting and how the hips and torso move. Like we. There's people who are really like fleshing out what poi dance looks like without making it look specifically like poi or like a specific dance.
Absolutely.
Is that just a shout out?
I thought that they were part.
Oh, they were, yeah.
And, it's maybe 2 years ago now that Ryan did a worldwide poi challenge. And that was really fun to see just like all the different kind of styles, all the different countries. It was really cool, and there was a lot of poi given away.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I really I saw, because at PoiCon there was people from all over, right? Not just Russia. This was primarily Russia, and the sheer amount of diversity in just style that goes way beyond anything I'd even seen online. I'm not saying everybody was the best in the world. I'm saying that like people were just doing stuff I hadn't seen before. And some of them were doing it the best I'd ever seen it imagined upon imagining it at all.
Totally.
I mean, wow. So my point being that like I got really excited and did this worldwide poi challenge because it was kind of like what you're doing with the Poidcast. I really just wanted tutorials from people on stuff that I thought would be valuable, which was like, what's a fundamental that was really meaningful to your personal style, and what would you consider like a signature move? And I think like approaching that sort of thing internationally was really special to me, trying to hit diversity in like a demographic sense.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, what a great idea. That's awesome. Somebody, while we're on the topic, while I don't forget, somebody on my dream list. I want to get a hold of Kate McCoy. I just don't know where to even find her.
Burning Man.
All right, let me tag along with Marvin and find her. That's probably a good idea. I know. Some people, I respect them being off the grid. And no longer, a part of the online community. Because at the end of the day, we all, or hopefully all of us picked it up, and it just was an integral part of who we are before we started, trying to build whatever social media or whatever that whole thing is, building a presence and getting, more opportunities through social media, whatever. But yeah, I mean, people like Kate and the earlier, spinners who were just putting so much work into discoveries of frameworks and really, just creating unique sequences and patterns that we had never seen before. She definitely falls into that category for me, for sure.
Speaking of Kate, Dr. Kate Regal Van West.
Oh yes, that has been a person that has been criminally undermentioned on the podcast. I need to reach out and see if we can't schedule something. Good idea. Thank you for the motivation. This is why I asked this question.
The States now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Well, I mean, we got through so much stuff. Do you guys have any topics that you feel like we could go back to, or do you guys have anything else that we could hit on?
Not that I can
Did we
think
kill
of.
it?
It's been a
I
blast.
think we killed it. Yeah, this has been so fun, you guys. Thank you. So this is their shared Instagram. Now, we'll link your individual social media links as well. But obviously, we just everybody that has gotten through this far through the episode, we appreciate both of your time so much, and it's been so fun hearing insight from my first partner poi duo interview. So this has been so much fun for me as a host.
First of hopefully more.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, we could have repeat guests is something that I'm really excited to have, people come back, because conversations that we could get a different, now that we got all the the basis stories and kind of all that stuff out of the way, and then we can get into some more serious topics and pick some more stuff to get into more thoroughly. But yeah, the list that you provided was amazing, so good. We watched some great videos. But Ryan and Krysten, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you again for having us. It has been
Yeah.
really fun to just talk about poi.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you again. We'll close that out on that. Peace out, everybody. See you next episode.
Goodbye.